Hello and welcome to Prion channel on YouTube. This is for the class 8 chapter 2 microorganism friends and foe. So you have seen several kinds of the plants and animals. However, there are other living organisms around us which we cannot see through our eyes alone. So these are called microorganisms or microbes. For example, you might have observed that during the rainy seasons moist breads get spoiled and its surface get covered with the greasy or white patches. Observe these patches through the magnifying glass. You will see the tiny black rounded structures. Do you know these structures are called microorganisms, right? So these microorganisms, and do you have any tiny organism have you seen around? So this observation shows that water and soil are full of tiny organisms, though not all of them fall into the same category of microbes. These microorganisms or microbes are so small in the size that they cannot be seen with the unaided eyes. Some of these, such as a fungus that grows on a bread, can be seen with the magnifying glass. Other cannot be seen without the help of the microscope. That is why these are called microorganisms or microbes. Microorganisms are classified into four major categories. So these groups are bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and some algae. Some of these common microorganisms are shown in the figure 2.1 and 2.4. So viruses are also microscopic, but they however reproduce only inside the cell of the host organism, which may be a bacterium, plant or animal. Some of the viruses are shown in figure 2.5. Common element like a cold, influenza, and most cough are caused by viruses. Serious disease like a polio, chickenpox are also caused by viruses. Disease like a dysentery and malaria are caused by protozoa, whereas the typhoid and tuberculosis are bacterial disease. You have learned about some of these microorganisms in class 6 and 7. So these are the picture of spiral microbacteria, the roll-shaped bacteria, the chlamydomonas and spirogyra, algae. Protozoa contains amoeba and paramecium, and bread mold, penicillium, and aspergills are the fungi. Now, these are the virus examples. Where do the microorganisms live? Right. So microorganisms may be single-celled like bacteria and some algae and protozoa, or multicellular. They have more than one cell, such as the algae and fungi. They can survive under all types of the environment, ranging from ice-cold climate to hot spring and a desert to the marshy land. So it means that they can survive anywhere. They are also found inside the bodies of animals, including the human. Such organisms grow on other organisms while others exist freely. Microorganisms like amoeba can live alone while fungi and bacteria may live in a colonies. Microorganism and us, right? So how human are interact with this microorganism. Microorganisms play an important role in our life. Some of them are beneficial in many ways, whereas some others are harmful and cause disease. Let us study about them in detail, right? So they are good for us and bad for us as well, right? So friendly microorganisms, which is good for us, right? Microorganisms are used for various purposes. They are used in the preparation of curd, bread, and cake. They are also used in cleaning up of the environment. For example, the organic waste, vegetable peels remaining of animal, feces, etc. are broken down into harmless and usable substance by bacteria. Recall that bacteria are also used in the preparation of medicine. In agriculture, they are used to increase the soil fertility by fixing the nitrogen. So these are all the bacteria that help us in our day-to-day life. Making of curd and a bread, we need a bacteria. You have learned in the class 7 that milk is turned into curd by bacteria. The curd contains several microorganisms. Of these, the bacteria lactobacillus, right, is the name of the bacteria, promote the formation of curd. It multiplies in the milk and convert into curd. Bacteria are also involved in the making of cheese, pickles, and many other food items. An important ingredient of rava, soji, idli and baturas is curd. Then there is a process given over here in 2.6 that how raise the maida by using the yeast. Yeast reproduce rapidly and produce carbon dioxide during the respiration. Bubbles of the gas filled in the dough and increase its volume. So this is the basis of the use of yeast in the baking industry for making breads and pastries and cakes. Commercial use of microorganism, how we are using in a large amount. So microorganisms are used for the large scale productions of an alcohol, wine and acetic acid. Yeast is used for commercial productions of alcohol, wine. For this purpose, yeast is grown on a natural sugar present in the grains like a barley, wheat, rice, and a crushed fruits juice, etc. This is a smell of our alcohol as a sugar has been converted into alcohol by yeast. This process of conversion of sugar into alcohol is known as the fermentation. Louis Pasteur discovered this fermentation in 1857. Medicinal use of microorganisms. Whenever you fall ill, the doctor may give you some antibiotics, tablets, or capsules or injection in search of the penicillin. The source of this medicine in organisms. This medicine kills or stops the growth of the disease causing microorganisms, such as the medicinal are called antibiotics. These days, number of antibiotics are being produced for the bacteria and fungi. Streptomycin, tetracycline, and the erythromycin are some of the example of this kind of the drugs. The antibiotics are manufactured by growing specific microorganisms and used to cure a variety of diseases. Antibiotics are even mixed with the feed of livestock and poultry to check microbial infections in the animals. They are also used to control many plant diseases. And so it's very important for us. Vaccine. Have you heard about the vaccine? So when a disease carrying microbes enter into our body, the body produces antibodies to fight the invader. The body also remember how to grow, how to fight with the microbes and enters again. So if dead or weakened microorganisms and they introduce in the healthy body, the body fights and kills them, producing suitable antibodies. The antibody remains in the body and we are protected from this disease causing microbes. This is how the vaccine works. Several diseases including cholera, tuberculosis, smallpox and hepatitis can be prevented by the vaccination. And Edward Jenner discovered this vaccine for smallpox in 1798. In your childhood, you must have been given injections to protect yourself against several diseases. Can you prepare a list of this disease? You may take help of your parents. It is essential to protect all the children against this disease. Necessary vaccines are available in nearby hospitals. You might have seen the advertisement on TV and newspaper regarding protections of children against the polio under pulse polio program, and polio drops given to children are actually a vaccine. A worldwide campaign against the smallpox has finally led to a reduction of the most part of the world. These days, vaccines are made on a large scale from the microorganism to protect the human and other animals from several diseases. So basically, we prepared the vaccine from the very weak elements of those particular disease microorganisms, and then that is given to the child so that the antibodies developed by the receiver, and then it protect it for in the future. Now, increasing soil fertility. Some bacteria and blue-green algae are able to fix the nitrogen from the atmosphere to enrich the soil with the nitrogen and increase its fertility. These microbes are commonly called biological nitrogen fixers. So, cleaning the environment. Now, here they are discussing about the manure, right? So, they collected waste plants, vegetables, fruits, nearby houses and gardens, and they put them into a pit and in the for a waste disposal. After some time, they have checked that decomposed and got converted into a manure. So this manure can be used for the good plants. Now, who decomposes, so it is done by the small microbes. The nutrients released in the process could be used by the plants again. So you notice that when you are giving them manure or fertilizer, they could do a better. You often see a large amount of a dead organic matter in the form of decaying plants and sometimes dead animals on the ground. You find that they are disappear after some time. So this is because of the microorganism decompose the dead organic waste plants and animals, converting them into a simpler substance. These substances are again used by the plants and animals, and thus the microorganisms are useful in degrading this and harmful and smelly substance, thereby cleaning the environment. So we can call them a cleaner of the environment. Harmful microorganisms. So microorganisms are harmful in many ways. Some of the microorganisms cause a disease in human beings, plants and animals. Such disease causing microorganisms are called a pathogen. Some microorganisms spoil the food, clothing and leather. So let us study more about them in the activity. Here is the disease causing microorganism for the human. Pathogens enters in our body through the air that we breathe, water we drink, or food we eat. They can also get transmitted by the direct contact of infected person carrying through the animal. Microbial disease that can be spread from the infected person to the healthy person through the air, water, food, or physical contact are called a communicable disease. Right? It transmits from one person to another person. For example, cold, chickenpox, and tuberculosis. When a person is suffering from the common cold, sneeze, and droplets of moisture carrying thousands of viruses are spread in the air, and the virus may enter into the body of healthy persons while they breathe in. There are some insect and the animal that act as a carrier and they take this whole virus on their body and then they cause a disease like to the healthy person. Housefly is one such carrier. The fly sits on the garbage, animal excrete, and then pathogen sticks to their body. When the flies sit on the uncovered food, it may sit there and it transfers the pathogens. However, when whoever eat this contaminated food, then they're likely to get a sick. So it is advisable to always eat covered food or always cover the food, you know, avoid consuming uncovered food. Another example of Anopheles mosquitoes. Female Anopheles mosquitoes carry the parasite of malaria, and female Aedes mosquito acts as a carrier of dengue virus. How we can control the spread, right? So all the mosquito breed in water, so should not let the water collect in anywhere, and clean all the things that have the collected water or stagnant water for a while. Some of the common diseases affect the human, their bodies of transmission. Here in 2.1 given hold the chart, you must read and learn this chart. Disease causing microorganisms in animals. So several microorganisms not only cause a disease in human and plants but also into the animal. For example, anthrax is dangerous for the human and cattle disease caused by the bacterium. Foot and mouth disease of a cattle is caused by the virus. Disease causing microorganism in plant. Several microorganisms cause a disease in a plant like what? Wheat, rice, potato, sugarcane, orange, apple, other disease. Reduce the yield of the crops, so they're also harmful for the plants. Here are some example of 2.2 in plant diseases. Food poisoning. What is the food poisoning? Means whenever you eat any kind of contaminated food, you start feeling vomiting and headache. Had be taken to the hospital. So the doctor said that these food contain the poisonous stuff. So it caused the illness and even sometimes death. So best we think we need to do is to preserve the food and prevent it from being spoiled. Food preservations. How we can preserve the food? So normally we preserve the cooked food at home by adding some of the other variety. Some of the food we use to add salt and oil, and these are the one which preserve the food for a longer period of time. Chemical method, soil and edible oils are the common chemicals generally used to preserve the food for the long period of time. It's called the preservatives. Preservation by common salt. So fish, for the meat and fish, it is covered with a dry salt, so does it stop the bacterial growth and it remain it as good for the longer period of time. Also, to preserve the amla we use and the raw mangoes, we use the tamarind common salt. Preservation by sugar, jams and jellies squashed and preserved by the sugar. So sugar reduces the moisture content which inhibit the growth of the bacteria while storing the food, preventing